Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to a live Manchester United news show. And we've got lots to talk about in today's show because Ruben Amorim has given his first presser as Manchester United head coach and he just gets it. From watching that, from listening to that, he just gets it. The way he demands for athletes, he knows the squad, he knows the problem is the physical abilities of the squad. He basically makes it clear what he wants from Ineos, what he wants from the players, what he wants from the youth, nowhere to hide, good communicator. I think Ruben Amorim's interview has been absolutely fantastic. He talks upon recruitment. We get some insight into what he said to the United players. He's given a little bit of a speech. Man United are making moves for Chris Rigg, apparently in January in United, and Jim Ratcliffe has told Ashworth to go and spend in January. I mean, today has been a fantastic day as a Manchester United fan because I'm falling for Amorim. Everything that came out of Amorim's mouth today, I was like, yes, he gets it. He knows. There's something about this guy. You can see how he vibes with his players at Sporting, how he vibes with the Sporting fans. I was at Football Content Awards yesterday. I spoke to two people actually that were Sporting Lisbon fans, and they were like, Amorim, amazing. Amorim, fantastic. The way that he gets it in his interviews, the way he communicates with the players, the way the players are taking to him, it feels fantastic. Maybe some will say deja vu, but Ten Hag never had this level of communication. Ten Hag was strict. Ten Hag, I think, did well with the youth, which people are trying to discredit, which I think is crazy. But Amorim is known for being a communicator, and I feel super excited. I want to talk about transfer plans, Alphonso Davies, Ratcliffe giving the green light for some things. I want to talk about things that Amorim said. He said we have to improve in many areas. It's a different way of playing in the Premier League. We have to improve the physical aspect of the team. I don't know how long it will take. I know we have to win at Man United. We have to win games and trophies. And my biggest issue with United is physically. My biggest issue with Ruben Amorim coming in is not Amorim, but I said, do the players have the physical abilities to play the play that Ruben Amorim wants and the intensity he wants? And Ruben Amorim is saying physical aspect needs to improve. He knows it. He knows the players. He gets it. It sounded very good. Let's be positive, but don't think we can get too far ahead of ourselves. And that's the thing. I'm thinking in my head, this guy's the one, but we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. But I loved the interview. I thought it was amazing. And I also just want to say a big thank you to you guys. Obviously, I mentioned it in my video earlier today. I don't have the award on me, but I did win the Football Content Award. So I was nominated for 3 awards. I was nominated for Best in Video Creators, which I won, which was absolutely amazing because there were some brilliant people in my category. Box to Box podcast, I've seen them a lot on TikTok. They were in my category. I know that they do some great stuff. Those lads as well. So to win that category was absolutely amazing. To win Best in Video, I came second in Best Club Content Creator Premier League. Villa on Tour won that. I've watched a few of those videos. He put so much effort into his editing and stuff. Well-deserved winner. So it was amazing just to come second in that category because there were so many great creators in that category. And then Best Influencer, I also came second. Fabrizio Romano won. So, you know, if I beat Fabrizio Romano at Best Influencer, that wouldn't make any sense. Let's be honest, I'm not an influencer, he is. So, but even to come second in that category, unbelievable. So yeah, I won gold for Best in Video and silver Best Premier League Content Creator and Best Influencer. So yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So I want to thank everyone that voted. I've been nominated 3 times before for the Football Content Awards and I've never won. And I thought, well, I've never pushed it. So I thought I'll mention a couple of videos. I'll put it on the Twitter. We'll see who votes. So big thanks, big love to everybody. But I am going to get into the news. I am going to get into everything that needs to be spoken about. But yeah, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the support and everything. It's been amazing. But let's talk about Amorim. Let's talk about things that could be happening at United because I do think it's super exciting as well. But yeah, big up everybody in the chat. I can't read out every comment, but really do appreciate that. So let's dive into what Amorim has been saying. I actually want to show you one thing, I want to show you one thing quickly. And I want to dive into the transfer news. I want to dive into the interesting news, but I want to dive into what Nuruddin said here. This was what I was trying to say earlier, and Nuruddin just puts it in a better words than me. This is what he said in regards to Ruben Amorim's sort of press conference and interview. He said, I love the direct communication. Ruben told players that there's nowhere to hide. He told Ineos what he expects. He doesn't care about club legends. He's low-key trying to create a siege mentality against the press. It was refreshing to watch. It's time for action now. And we're going to dive into what Ruben Amorim said. I'm sure that you're aware of some of what Ruben Amorim said, but Nuruddin got that absolutely spot on. the way he was with the press, with everything, was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So let's go into it. Let's get into what Amorim has been saying. So, Amorim said, I know you don't believe in these players, but I do. You think it's not possible. I think it's possible. I believe in them. They're open to different things and they work hard. He said, we have to improve the physical aspect of the team. I don't know how long it will take, but I know we have to win at United. We have to win games and titles. He's saying he believes in the players. If he can improve the physical aspect of the team, he believes in himself. He believes that he can win titles. And he's basically saying, screw the press. I don't care what you say about me. I don't care what you say about my players. I believe in myself. I believe in my players. Bish, bash, bosh is what he's saying, and I like that. Ruben Amorim says, I think we have to improve the physical aspect of the team. I think we lose the ball too often, and I think we have to keep the ball. We have to be better at running back, and I think that's clear for everybody. And I think if I was to sit here and someone asked me to say to Ruben Amorim what I thought United's problems were in terms of the players, I'd have said physical demands, ground coverage. I'd have said maybe not tracking back and maybe giving the ball away too easily. And he's literally said all of those. It's like he gets it. He knows. It's amazing. He said, call me naive, but I truly believe I'm the right guy in the right moment. I could be wrong, but the world will still turn. The sun will still rise again. I don't worry about that. I truly believe I'm the right guy for this job, says Ruben Amorim as well. He says, we lose the ball too quickly, we win it. We lose it. That's one of the things we worked on this week. If you keep the ball, you can put pressure higher up. And if you're higher up, you can press better. Everything is connected. It's not a revolution because football is not so different with 5 players in defence or 4 players in defence. We have our own ideas. We have our way of playing, of seeing football, and we're going to change our way of playing. So what Ruben Amorim is basically saying here is he wants intensity, he wants athletes, he wants his players to run. If the players give the ball away, they've got to get it back. He in training was working with not losing the ball. If you do lose the ball, you've got to work hard to get it up. You've got to run all the way back. In training, we saw clips of it when they lost the ball. In this first day of training, they had to get all the way back. They had to track back. It's you lose the ball, you get back. You got to press high up the pitch. You got to be involved. You've got to give everything for the team. And he's saying there's too much focus on people talking about, is he going to play a back 5 or a back 4 or a back 3? He's saying stop talking about back 4, back 5, back 3. He said we have our way of playing football. It's not about how many are at the back, because he can set up with a back 5, but you could have Garnacho as the left wing back and Luke Shaw as the left centre back, and really it could just end up being a back 4 in game. He's saying we have our way of playing. His back 5 will sometimes be a back 4, will sometimes be a back 3. It's the way it alternates in game. He has his way of playing, keeping the ball, working for each other, being direct. That is his way of playing, and that's what brought so much success as well. I think Amorim from the heart. I think Amorim talks from the heart and is honest. I see why he got the nickname the Power. I agree. I think he's very honest. I think he's very self-aware, and I think he knows exactly what Manchester United need, which I really, really like. I really do like him. There's also quite a young contingent in the squad. A number of them are not finished articles yet as well. I agree. They're not the finished article yet. I think we've got young players that need a good coach around them that can bring them confidence. And Bruno Fernandes said on Ruben Amorim, when he's your manager, he backs you. He believes in his players. You have a bit of bad form, he will believe in his young players. And I think the young players, if they have a manager that truly believes in them, that's going to give them confidence, is going to look to bring them through and develop them, I think Ruben Amorim can be the manager for that, because he puts a lot of faith in his young players. He believes in his young players. He likes to work with his young players. He likes to develop his young players as well. I didn't even factor Shaw into plans. He's never fit. I don't know how much he's in the plans. Amorim actually spoke on Luke Shaw. Here he said on Luke Shaw, Amorim said this: we have to build his fitness during games, so we have to be careful. I think he's a very good player, so I'll take care of him. And I want these kinds of players that are important in our squad for a long period and not just the games. We said on Luke Shaw he's important, he likes him, he's going to take care of him, but there's obviously fitness issues there. Now, a couple of reports have been saying that Luke Shaw's more likely to have a role at left centre-back at United than actually left-back. If we go back to what we mentioned in my video earlier today, it was said, if I can find it here, if United indeed sign a new left-back, it could be in a central role where Shaw provides his worth once again. He could be given a new role as centre-back under Amorim. Harry Amas could be the backup left wing-back. So that was said earlier today. So there's definitely maybe a place for Shaw in that position as well. I'm going to dive into a few more things Amorim said, but I really want to talk about the recruitment, the youth, the transfer plans, what Amorim has been saying on that. I think that will be the key thing to talk about as well. I can't wait for the first match under Amorim's management. Either can I. I'm so excited for Sunday. Absolutely gassed as well. But Amorim said this on the players. He said, first, they want to play. Then we will see, can they adapt to different positions? They are open to other positions. Maybe when you see the starting 11 on Sunday, you won't see many changes. But if you see them on the pitch in the positioning and the way they receive the ball. So he's saying you might not see big changes in the starting 11, but what you might see is big changes in terms of actually where they position himself on the pitch to receive the ball, is what he's saying. He's saying, I have to understand the league and it's important, and then when everything is aligned, when everyone is on the same wavelength, we can buy and sell players. So what Ruben Amorim has said in terms of recruitment is he needs to understand the league, he needs to understand his players, he needs to get used to the league, he needs to see which players can adapt to different positions or not. Everything needs to get used to it, and then they can look at buy and selling players. So I want to dive into what Amorim has said on Ashworth, Ratcliffe, Brailsford, Barada, the board, everything going on when it will come to buying and selling players at United, because I think Amorim touches upon a few key points. If Leacher heals up and stays fit, we'll not rely on Shaw much. I agree. I do think Leacher might be out this Ipswich game with a knock, but fingers crossed he's okay. But I don't want to play him if he's not okay and risk it and make him worse as well. Did you mention how we put Gary Neville in his place? He was right that the club was to blame. 100%. We're going to dive into him putting Gary Neville in his place as well. But this is what Amorim said in the hierarchy. He said, Sir Dave Brailsford is known for creating culture. Of course, they are different sports, but he can create a winning culture and a strong culture. Correct. And I like how aware he is of everybody in the Ineos team. And we need that in our club. We need to build that before we build something else. He said, then there is Dan Ashworth. He is known in England and he is the same position as Hugo was at Sporting. One of the things to say is that it's important that a coach or a manager says something. There is someone like Dan who can say the same thing to the players. That connection is very important with the club, and then the players will speak to his agent and the agent will speak to him and he will hear the same thing. It's important because the players feel that there is no place to hide, so we have to be on the same page. And this is what I love. He's telling Dan Ashworth exactly what he expects of him. He's telling Brailsford exactly what he expects of him. And he's telling the players there is nowhere to hide. This is what you've got to do. He's saying then there's Jason Wilcox, a director technique. It's very important for me that we have to improve Carrington with the youth teams. We have to create the profile for the type of players you want in the first team. And we have to improve. We have good players, but we can do better. I mean, I think our academy is fantastic. But even he's saying, we have to do better. The academy has to do better, and it's been fantastic, which employs, those ridiculously high standards, and probably that, he wants the academy to mirror, elements of how he plays, which is absolutely fair. He then said, I really don't think about recruitment. I need to know the players. Then I'll have a look at it with Jason Wilcox and Dan Ashworth. We need to improve recruitment, but it's a process. There's the data. You have to understand the profile. They have to understand how I want to play and what I need for each position. So Amorim is then, again, he's almost telling Wilcox, Jasper, Barada, this is how we're going to do things. And I like that. He's telling Ineos how he wants things done. He says in recruitment, he says he'll look at it with Wilcox and Ashworth. He will have a say. But Ashworth and Wilcox are the main guys, but he'll have a say. He said, we need to improve the recruitment process. He says, well, look at the data. We have to understand the profile. We have to understand how I want to play and what I need for each position. He will be doing that with Ashworth and Wilcox. He'll be working with them. He's telling them that. He said, it's very clear we're trying to do it very, very quickly. But it's first a step. And if we start without having all the data, the physical data that each position requires, the character of player, if we don't have a clear process, we can't start buying players. Our goal is to build that. Then, when the transfer window opens, we'll see. But I'm not thinking about it at the moment. So it's about learning a squad, learning the characters, telling Ineos how he wants to play, looking at the data, looking at the profile of player that fits the way he wants to play. And one thing we do know about Ruben Amorim is he wants players with a certain intensity. He wants players that can cover a certain amount of ground, that can play at a certain intensity. That's what he wants. And that's exactly what we need as well. I love your passion, but I need to breathe and have a good night's sleep. I think, to be honest, I didn't get back from the Football Content Awards at 2 a.m. last night, so I am quite tired. So I do apologise if I have been yawning as well. Best club in the world, we might be back. Love the attitude. 96 likes, over 409 people watching. Yeah, we've got 428 people watching right now. We're on 96 likes, but we're also on 97,000, subscribers, 97,688 subscribers. So if you are watching right now and you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do go ahead and subscribe down below if you're new. It would mean absolute world to me and the channel. Be absolutely brilliant if you could subscribe. But let's dive into a few more comments as well. Would you take Gyökeres at United? Absolutely as well. The academy was the one thing Erik ten Hag did well and seemed to be hands-on with. Not sure why some saying the opposite all of a sudden. I think people, because Amorim's in, people are trying to make out that ten Hag did nothing and Amorim will do all of that. And it's like, yeah, Amorim will help with the youth, but ten Hag also help with the youth. I think, you can say Amorim's a better communicator than ten Hag, but I don't think you can say Amorim's going to do more with the youth than ten Hag. He might, but I think that would be disrespectful to ten Hag, who brought through Maino and Garnacho. So Amorim says, I have to have a say in recruiting because I'm the coach, and he's asking Ineos, he's saying, I need a say in recruiting, I'm the coach. And he says, you have to work with everyone and improve the recruitment process. I want to have a strong position on this. You have to work together, but I think the manager should have the last word. He knows as head coach that Ineos are going to have a lot of control of recruitment, a lot of control of the recruitment process. And he's telling Ineos, he's the head coach. He wants a say on this. He wants to be a big part of this. He wants a strong position on this. And he's saying this publicly. This is what he expects from Ineos. He's telling us what he expects to do, how they expect to work. He's talking about recruitment. He's saying it has to improve. And I like that. I absolutely like that. It was also said by Amorim, with or without the ball, each player must have the same idea. Imagine someone receiving the ball between the lines. Each player must know what to do. The idea is to understand the match all in the same way. When he talks about his ball, when he talks about his style of play, he wants players at a certain intensity. He wants players that know what to do when they got the ball, receive the ball between the lines, turn, be comfortable on the ball. He's been working with Kobe on that. He's been working with Ahmad on that. So before I get into the transfer news, I do want to get into what Amorim's comments were on the likes of Gary Neville. I think that would be quite interesting to get into among more things as well. Any top executive structure has to at least consult the manager on transfers. I agree. I don't think it needs to be manager-led like it was with Ten Hag, but I think the manager needs to be consulted as well. So 100% agree with that as well. And Amorim has already mentioned players will get us used to, or has already mentioned players will have to get used to being on the bench. The first team comes first, and I like that. He's telling players what to expect. He's telling players to get on with it. He's slamming Gary Neville. He's slamming, down the haters, the media. He's saying what he expects from Ineos. And, he's not here to try and suck up and impress everybody. He's here and he just wants to win. He's got one thing on his mind, and that's winning. And I absolutely love that from Ruben Amorim. So what did he say on Gary Neville and co? He said on Gary Neville's criticism of Rashford and Casemiro, he said the difference in your time is that there was strong leadership and a culture was already there when you started. It had to start with the club, including me. This time we can't blame Rashford and Casemiro because they were given information about 5 days off where they can do what they want. It's up to us to set better standards. Amorim on 5 days rest. In a case-by-case basis, we have to see if there's players play or not, if they are injured or not. For me, 5 days is a bit too much because you lose something after 3 days, but sometimes it's better to lose something physically to gain something mentally in case it has to be a decision, not to the players. So Amorim, instead of going in on Rashford and Casemiro, like everybody in mainstream media is doing, he's saying he's going to back Rashford and Casemiro. They're his players. He doesn't want to get on their wrong side already. He's going to back them, and he's saying, why did the club let him have 5 days off? He has no issue with Rashford and Casemiro going on holiday, but he's saying they only need 3 days off. Why have they got 5 days off? And he's calling out the club for that. And that's absolutely fair. He is calling out the club. He's calling out Gary Neville. He's calling out, everybody around him. He's telling Ineos exactly what he wants. And that's what I like about Ruben Amorim. He's not here to suck up and pander to anybody. He is saying what he wants. He is saying what he expects. And I like that as well. Any top executive structure has to at least consult the manager on transfers, says Alex, 100% as well. Big up everybody in the chat. Big up everybody in the chat who's congratulating me for my award. Big up everybody in the chat as well. But I like his honesty, Ruben Amorim. I do. To be fair, Casemiro looks much better than last season. Casemiro's having a much better season. And I think, for me, I had no issue with Casemiro and Rashford going away for a few days because I knew Ruben Amorim wasn't going to be training until Monday. So they weren't going to be training. They'll probably be in the gym in New York. Give them a few days off to mentally prepare for Ruben Amorim. I have no issue with Rashford and Casemiro, going on holiday. Even if Rashford hasn't been its best, absolutely no issue with that. So let's dive into some of the transfer news because we've got some interesting stories coming out on Chris Rigg. Sources claim the Manchester United hierarchy regard Chris Rigg as the most appealing young domestic talent that could potentially be available and are ready to test Sunderland's resolve to hold on to him. Sunderland are aware Manchester United's growing interest in Chris Rigg, but will resist all approaches for the teenagers during the January transfer window. A January approach from United is regarded as likely. So, according to reports, Man United making a January approach for Chris Rigg is likely. Now, he is a 16, 17-year-old midfielder at Sunderland, seen as the next Jude Bellingham, someone that's doing ridiculously well for his age in the Championship, in midfield, seen as the next real proper talent, the Bellingham-esque talent. And United could go from in January. Now, I've always seen him as a summer signing. I think he'd want to see out this summer at Sunderland. This is his first full season of football. But I would be open to him in January. I think he's a young player. I think he's an exciting player. I do think we need more ready-made players in January. And then in summer, we can look at players for Amorim to develop if there's not particularly a key person in each position. Because I think while the squad is probably better than what we're doing under Ten Hag, I still think the squad needs to improve. I think we need to spend money at left back. But I think Chris Rigg would be an absolutely fantastic addition. In January. I think it'd be a fantastic signing. He's viewed highly by the hierarchy. He's available. And it'd be interesting to see what happens there as well. We have got a bit of interest in Chris Rigg. It is one to watch, keep an eye on. It's definitely for sure. Guys, we've got 500 people watching, by the way. Let's go for 150 likes. And please do subscribe down below if you're new. I'm 12 subscribers away from 97.7k. So that would mean a lot of you subscribe if you're new as well. Not Job, the next Jube. Yeah. I don't know why I said Job. It's because Job's also at Sunderland, but I meant Jube as well. Well done, Alice. Keep up the good content. Appreciate that as well. Amorim will try and have a clear and open communication, which is important for the players and us. You can question what he does, but it will be communicated. Yeah. The thing about Amorim is what he's always been known for is being a good communicator. Getting on with people, being a good communicator as well. I enjoyed how much Amorim took control of the narrative surrounding Casemiro and Rashford boss. Yeah, I like how Amorim takes control. I like how Amorim isn't scared of anyone. He's telling everyone exactly what he wants done. I really like Amorim's interview. Absolutely. But Chris Rigg could be one to watch. Very exciting young player. This was also said on Man United's January transfer plans. It was said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is keen to make changes in January and has instructed Dan Ashworth to start formalising plans for the January window. It said that Manchester United have been asking about goalkeepers. The club were interested in Burnley's James Trafford, and that Man United are interested in signing Alphonso Davies. Now, I have no idea why we're interested in signing James Trafford. He's not better than Onana, and he's probably going to be overpriced. But it was said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is keen to make changes in January and has instructed Dan Ashworth to start formalising plans for the transfer window. So Scott Wilson of the Echo isn't a tier 1 source, so I would take that in mind. But he is talking about Chris Rigg. He's talking about Man United ready to make a move for Chris Rigg in January. And he is now saying things along the lines of Sir Jim Ratcliffe has given permission for Dan Ashworth to start preparing maybe some January plans. Now, I don't expect Man United to spend big in January. I don't expect Man United to spend a lot of money in January, but I do expect something to happen. And I've said that multiple times. I do generally think that in January we could look at a left back. I think we could bring on one player in January. I don't think it's anyone massive. I don't think it's anyone fancy, but I do think we could bring one person in January, if I'm going to be honest. Someone said, if you give your all and you do as he wants, you will feel Ruben's love. If you're not, you will feel his wrath. Great. And actually, I think someone said that was a Sporting fan. Ruben Amorim is one of those managers. You give him 100%, you give him what he wants, he will be happy. If you don't, he's not going to be happy. And you'll be out. Ruben Amorim is going to assess the Man United squad. Can they physically play the football he wants to play? Can they do the running he wants? Can they play at intensity they want? No, you're out. That's when you look at recruitment. I want this, this, and this. Yes, he loves you. You're in. He'll back you. That's what you get with Ruben Amorim, and I like that. I love how Ruben Amorim has recognised how good our academy is, but also love that he still sees room for improvement. Never settle for what you've got. 100% Richard. Absolutely spot on. I like that he looks at what we've got, but he's not settling. Academy's great. I want more. I want those academy players to come into my team. Ruben Amorim's been told he's got to get the best out of this Man United squad. He looks at this Man United squad. He says, I can get the best out of you. I'm confident in it. But in return, you must give me your all back. He said he can get the best out of these United players, but some of these Man United players are not physically fit to play his football. And those Man United players will be the ones that have gone under Ruben Amorim. Those youth players he wants to utilise and use, but he wants them to improve as good as they are. He's going to utilise the youth. He's going to utilise the first team. He's going to get the best out of them. If they cannot match the intensity of style of play, they are out. There will be outs in the summer. I don't think there'll be outs in January. I think there could be ins in January. I think the only out in January could be Anthony. I think the ins in January, we are linked to Chris Rigg. I think it's more likely to be a fullback. There will be outs. There will be ins. Ruben Amorim will do his thing. And I like his approach on that. I really do. Amorim does seem a special gaffer. He was my top choice last summer, Erik ten Hag. If Erik ten Hag left, hopefully Ineos deliver for him. Hopefully. My top choice was Flick. If Thingy left, but obviously went to Barcelona. But I think Amorim, when I look at it, I think before ten Hag was sacked, I did a video and I said the best manager I think we could potentially get now is Amorim, because I think he could leave Sporting halfway through the season if we really went for him, because he went and did interviews with West Ham and Liverpool, which suggests he was ready to leave Sporting. So yeah, I think Amorim was the best choice. I really like him. I really like how he speaks. I really like his approach. I 100% agree. I think it was the best choice, and I'm super excited about his addition. But let's dive into a few more stories and a few more news. And guys, if you are still watching, just to let you know, I'm on 97,689 subscribers. I'm 11 subscribers away from 97.7k. So please do subscribe down below. Ooh, voices gone below if you're new. It's much appreciated. As we're on that final road and final stretch to 100,000 subscribers, which is pretty crazy to say when you actually deep it as well. Congratulations on your awards, Alice. You work hard. Amorim is bringing the same mentality. Going to be a tough road ahead for the second best United in the Prem. Love from the tone. You have to include that second bit, but thank you for congratulating me on my award. And it's going to be tough for certain players. You know, and it's not going to be easy under Amorim. It's not that Amorim. I don't think Amorim's going to come in and do what Ollie did and win 13 games on the bounce, and we'll start singing Amorim's at the wheel. How good does it feel? I think it's going to be better under Amorim. I think there's going to be improvements, but it's going to be tough. There's going to be setbacks. We're not scoring goals. The team, I think, is good. Good. The team, I think, is better than 13, but better than it was under Ten Hag. I think Amorim can get another level up the team, and I think there can be improvement. And if we can see improvement, we can see progress. I think that's the most important thing as a Man United fan, is seeing the improvement, seeing the progress. That's what I want to see as a United fan. Improvement, progress, a direction, a style of play, and as Ruben Amorim would say, an identity. Ruben Amorim himself always speaks about identity. He's saying an identity is important to him, and I do think an identity is important. Weirdly, Sporting were commanding a fortune in the summer for Amorim, but took a fair amount mid-season. I think he struck a deal with them where if a certain club came in for a mid-season, and that was United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, he could then go for half price, and United did go for him. You can't judge after the first season. We've seen a lot of turn it on and off. Yeah, we can't judge Amorim off the season. We can judge him off next season, because if we don't see progress, we can be critical. But it's almost his third season, because that will be his second summer transfer window, where we can properly judge him. I think we won't see it until his third season, but maybe we see it a little bit next season. Who knows? But he's going to get 18 months. His first 18 months will be difficult to judge him in terms of, because of getting the players in the big transitional change. Obviously, he doesn't get anyone new in when he first joins. I mean, the first 18 months is going to be difficult to judge him, but as long as we can see progress and identity, that's good. It's after 18 months to 2.5 years do we really kick on. That's when you can really judge him. We'll have to give him time. We have to be patient, but we have to see progress and improvement. And I think we weren't seeing that under Ten Hag, which is why Ten Hag went. And maybe it was dragged out a little bit as well. Richard says, really can't wait for Sunday. Excited to see the changes he's been working on this week. He's hinted at playing wing-backs in the game. I'm expecting Delo and Mazraoui to start. I'm expecting Delo and Mazraoui to start at wing-back. I wouldn't be shocked if he threw Garnacho or Anthony in at wing-back. And potentially one of Delo or Mazraoui as the right-sided centre-back if Euro isn't fully fit, Leacher isn't fully fit. But yeah, I do absolutely agree with you. I think they will both start. He said there's not going to be too many differences in the lineup, but it's the way they set up. My prediction is it's going to be Mazraoui and Delo as the wing backs. I think it's going to be Euro, Evans, and De Ligt as the centre backs, because I think Martinez is out, and I think that will be the centre back pair. And I think Onana will be in goal. I think it will be Casemiro and Ugarte in the pivot. I think Maino he'll integrate in. I think it will be Ahmad. I think it will be Bruno. And I think it will be Rashford. And I think Mount and Kobe will definitely get off the bench. Højlund will get off the bench. I think it will be interesting. I think Garnacho will get off the bench. I think there's quite a good lineup there, particularly in the attacking roles. It'll be interesting to see how Garnacho is used, how Anthony is used for sure as well. Will the weather affect the players? There is a storm headed, but hopefully not. I tell you what, we've had freezing cold and now we're having a storm. UK weather is just not it at the moment, guys. It's just not it at the moment, is it, as well? But I think Rashford will start up top. Amorim says some other things. Amorim and whether his confidence of succeeding here comes from his success at Sporting. He said, I follow what happens with other coaches. Erik ten Hag was fantastic at Ajax. For me, he built the best team outside the top 5 leagues. I have an idea, I know what to do. It can go wrong, but I have confidence that we will achieve something. Amorim says Mourinho sent me a message. He told me it's a huge club with lovely people. He's right, there's been changes, but it's still the biggest club in England. So Mourinho said United is a massive club, biggest club in England, big people. He said the people at the top of the club have checked Edward Wood and the people at the top of the club. So the way he's saying to Amorim, this is a brilliant club, and those people at the top have changed. So he's saying that's a good thing. But Amorim's saying, he's confident of succeeding. He says he'll follow what, he wants to come and do what he did at Sporting at United. But, Erik ten Hag was fantastic at Ajax. He built something brilliant. And unfortunately, it didn't go as well at United. So he's realistic. Things don't always go to plan, but he's confident in himself, which I do like to see from Ruben Amorim. But listen, people, I'm going to wrap up. The camera's gone. The camera wants to wrap up the show. Mate, the camera is just turning off on me. But listen, people, I want to dive into a few more stories and then I will wrap up the show because some interesting news has come out. But I just think Ruben Amorim, in my opinion, and maybe I'm getting excited, maybe I'm getting carried away, but I think we've had so much negativity, so much crap football for a while that it's nice to be positive. Even if some will say, oh, Alice, you're getting carried away, it is nice to be positive and speak positively about United and get excited. I think it's nice to be like, oh, this is happening. Oh, that's happening. Maybe something's happening for Chris Rick here. Maybe something's happening for Alphonso Davies. I don't know what's happening in the transfer market. I'm less sceptical about the transfer market. But what I do think is particularly exciting is Amorim coming in, the discipline, the connection he's going to have with the players. And Amorim's job, as said many times before, is to get the best out of the players. We spoke about it earlier. Ruben Amorim's job is to play and get the best out of the players. That is his job. Ruben Amorim is going to focus on training and progressing them in training rather than the transfer window because he's not going to spend loads, but there will be signings. He's implementing his way in training. He wants an identity. He's given players warnings about lifestyles and stuff off the pitch, but it's about identity. That's what Ruben Amorim wants, and that's what he will bring. Alice, are you really gassed by a press conference? Remember, Ange used to be a media darling. Look, you know what? We'll have to wait and see, but I think we've had 2-week international break. We've been waiting 4 weeks for Amorim to come in. We are bored. There's nothing to talk about. And Amorim gives this good press conference, and you get a bit excited for it. Surely you do. You get a bit excited for it as well. Also, things that have been said is that communication is apparently Amorim's greatest strength. Insiders say that no one's expecting a crazy transformation, but Amorim's going to bring an identity. And the overall message is from the coaches and hierarchy is that the players are capable of doing so much better than what was seen under Ten Hag. And Amorim's job is to get the best out of them. We know he's got a liking to Kobbie Mainoo, Amel and Euro, who he has spent one-on-one time with. Looks to go with 3-4-3 despite injuries. Rashford could be playing very close to goal. He will use a mixture of wingers and wing backs as well. And yeah, there's lots going on inside United. But listen, people, big up everybody in the chat. We've got 200 likes. Absolutely amazing stuff. If you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, please do go and subscribe down below if you're new. We are 11 subscribers away from 97.7k. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.